As we're gradually moving back to opening schools and businesses and, of course, our in person interactions, I want to remind you this is all time with cold and flu season getting going. Staying hydrated is key to helping your body deal with the added stress and with the upcoming flu season. My regular fans have heard me talk about a product called Hydrolyte for a long time now. It's an amazing rapid rehydration drink. It's a mix that, well, we're obsessed with here. I'm excited to announce they've just released Hydrolyte Plus Immunity just in time for cold and flu season. Hydrolyte Plus Immunity starts with their fast absorbing electrolytes and adds a host of immune boosting ingredients. Each single serve, easy pour drink mix contains 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C and 300 milligrams of elderberry extract, creates what is hopefully immune boosting formula that's high in antioxidants and zinc. Combining this with Hydrolyte's 7 key electrolytes, it's a fantastic way to stay proactive and properly hydrated. Hydrolyte Plus Immunity comes in convenient, easy to pour powder sticks that rapidly dissolve in water and make a great tasting drink that has 75% less sugar than your typical sports drink. It uses all natural flavors and it is gluten-free, dairy-free, caffeine-free, non-GMO, and it is vegan. And you can find Hydrolyte Plus by visiting hydrolyte.com.
Hey everyone, it's a dose of Dr. Drew.
Hey there. We're going to make it a quickie, as Susan put up in the title here, so we appreciate you guys being here.
And I don't know why it froze, but that Hydrolyte ad made it in. And
It usually follows the multi-camera, call-in thing. We have trouble the next day
there's
always.
no call-in today.
Cinchona bark, listen, if that's a quinine, be very careful. Quinines are extremely dangerous. Somebody's asking about using that as an ionophore for zinc. Hydroxychloroquine is a benign medicine. Trust me. I've used it for 35 years. Quinine is not a benign medicine. So please be careful with that stuff. Thank you, Tom Cigar. Now I'll ask for your consent. Tom Cigar says he didn't consent to a quickie. So it's all Susan's.
I'm all about the quickies.
There you go. Maybe that's too much information. I don't know. Try it out. Did we not fix the stream?
What do people
It seems to be better. What do
not
people what?
know about me?
I know, right? Exactly.
Like, how is that like any,
No mysteries.
See.
So here's the deal. I'm watching the data, and Andrew Ashkazvili was saying that Moderna has not yet applied for an emergency use authorization from the FDA. They seem to be allowing Pfizer. Maybe it's more expensive if you're this lone ranger pushing it through. Maybe the follow-up EUA is less costly. Maybe that's what my Moderna's waiting. I don't know. But I don't know why Moderna would not be pushing through their EUA. But we're talking about 20 million vaccinations by the end of the year. So we're looking pretty good here with vaccines. But I'm looking at the data. And if you look at COVID Tracking Project, the United States data is turning. It's getting better. It's peaking. It's plateauing. Now, only the virus knows whether it's going to have a second wave after that little turn down. But usually that doesn't happen. Usually, in fact, the way it looks is there's a symmetrical downturn. The same. It was kind of a steep up. It tends to be a steep down, which is what it looks like we're heading towards. So I was fishing around all the state data, and pretty much every state you can look at, all the ones that were having trouble, like Wisconsin and North Dakota and South Dakota, really have turned down significantly, and they're nowhere near overwhelming their hospital systems. There are some states that are looking a little wonky, Pennsylvania and Texas for two. They looked a little bit kind of like they need to pay attention or they could get into some trouble there. But what was fascinating to me, once again, is that California, which is completely locked down, and Florida have the exact same pattern, which makes me wonder, and I'm looking at Canada now too, where Canada had everything locked down, they started lightening up, and on came the virus, which kind of leads me to believe that it's impossible to prevent the virus. It comes back no matter what you do, and particularly if you have a population that is relatively unexposed, it accelerates rather rapidly these days. So, I guess you can suppress it as much as possible until we get to the vaccine, but it seems like somewhat of it is a fool's errand, that we all naturally change our behavior when we see risk. We just do. And that may be everything that we're seeing here. Also, people are doing the right thing with distancing and the masks and whatnot. So I don't know. It's kind of it's an interesting phenomenon. In the meantime, I was looking at the excess death data. There is a lot of excess death since March above and beyond COVID. A lot, like nearly as much as the COVID piece. Not as much, but nearly as much. And so that is telling me that the delay in treatment, the inattention to screening, the mental health component is having a profound effect. So if this is really something that we can't really prevent anyway, I don't know. I saw also, Joe, that 53 million may have already contacted it, but that's still only 20% of the population. We got a long way to go before anything like herd immunity. But I was watching John Campbell today, that nurse that does those informational videos, and it was sort of interesting. Yeah, Jason Lovell is saying Oregon still has more suicide than COVID deaths. I am not surprised at all by that. But that he was saying, since when did the politicians get involved in pandemic response? This should be CDC, public health officials, period. And it should be the public with those officials. And the public health officials have no authority to mandate us to do anything. Their job is to change our behavior in a healthy direction. We have just abandoned all the basic principles. But he was saying that a couple of Asian countries had it conducted entirely outside of politics. And guess what? They did the best. They did the best. So all I can tell you is this whole thing, if we don't learn anything from this, it's going to be a big mistake. Los Angeles is awful. That's right, Andy Scott. They've now closed down all the restaurants with zero evidence that does anything. I noticed Orange County is getting kind of clobbered down here in Southern California, and they have restaurants open. So we'll see if it turns. We had a lot today in LA County. No, we went down. So it's 4,500. So that's that magic number that we have to stay under. All right. So, Amanda Fisher, I don't understand what the politicians' motivations are. I can't understand why they would like to control and mandate how people behave. That's just anathema to everything that I would think somebody would be interested in doing, particularly Americans. So, but again, this is all kind of confusing for me. And it's, you want to see how Riverside County is doing? Let me see if I can figure that out.
So I want to wish everybody a happy post-Thanksgiving. Sorry we didn't get up yesterday, but we did have a great time, and we appreciate all the love.
Yeah, and we're not going to be long.
And we had dinner with Adam Carolla.
Which is where we're going right now. We're going to do it again. We haven't had enough.
He was here last night talking to Drew until midnight?
Something like that.
I know. And then he called for another hour today, and we're going to go over and do some more.
So Susan's telling you she's bored already.
No, I'm not bored. I actually had I liked his thoughts. I mean, he was talking about how he's traveling and he doesn't wear masks, and he does his shows, and 300 people crowd up, and they shake hands, and nobody gets sick, and it's kind of interesting to me. I mean, we don't know if anybody gets sick, but
I would feel terrible. I keep saying this if I got somebody else sick. So I wear a mask because I think that's doing something.
Everybody has a right to their life, like how they want to live it.
Well, that's what's interesting, right? And so he put that today on Twitter, and he got attacked.
Sure.
Riverside County, I've only got to November 11th, and it's not that bad. You were at a higher surge in July.
Adam Carolla wants to get it and die, it's his choice. He can do whatever he wants.
But of course, the issue is it moves through one person to many others. That's the problem.
Yeah, but what if he has some crazy junkyard dog gene that doesn't get it, like me?
Yeah, that might be you.
I think I have that.
Andrew,
I come from good white trash stock.
Andrew is saying that he has some information that the vaccine is already being distributed, which makes sense to me.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah, but they have to approve it, and that'll be towards the middle of next week.
Nurses, right? Like nurses.
Well, the healthcare providers, and I'm going to run in and try to get it if I can. We'll see. And I guarantee you I will have a reaction to that vaccine. I react to everything. And
I don't want to be a super spreader, but...
So prepare yourself,
how do you
Susan.
not, give your... make a living, you know what I mean? If restaurants have to close, I don't know. When I listen to his theories, even though I don't agree with everything he says, it just, I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble for this, but
So you're starting to feel that this whole
It's a little too much.
this whole political season has been a fool's errand to some extent.
It is. I mean, we're adults. We can be careful. You know, we can make sure that maybe go get a COVID test before you go do a show or whatever. But it just, I don't know. I'm getting tired. I'm tired of this. Everybody being so fearful to leave the house.
Joe Giannotti, yes, I know I'm going to get side effects. I know there are side effects. I get side effects from all the more powerful vaccines, so I'm ready. I'm ready for that one. Probably the second one is when I'll really get knocked down. But guess what? I'll spend a weekend in bed to be able to move about again and live my life. LA County Health Department mandating social distancing at homeless shelters. Rick Swinger, hi buddy.
Hey Rick.
I don't know if they are. They certainly aren't on the streets. You have to be a taxpayer to be mandated anything by the LA County, the California and county organizations, and city too.
Can you imagine?
You've not heard much about the AstraZeneca vaccine? There's a lot out there. Something's wonky about the research where they gave too low a dose in the first sort of vaccine series, and it had something like a 40 to 60% accuracy. And then in the second dose, they gave a full strength, and that actually did better than people that received two full strength doses. So I don't know what's up with the AstraZeneca vaccine. It's a lot less expensive than the other ones, and it will be interesting. That will be to spread around more worldwide, I'm sure. Terry, I hope that's not true. I hope we learn from all this, because if nothing else, learn to value your freedom. I've never thought so much about freedom and agency in my whole life as in the last 6 months. And also, yeah. I mean, my worst, sort of nightmares came true when I was complaining about the press February of 2020 that I could see the word staggering and grim and all the nonsense that was in the press.
They're doing that again.
I know that was going to take over the care of patients and the running of the healthcare system. I could just see it. I could just see it coming, and lo and behold, here we are. And so the politicians stepped in. And Joe Giannotti, should you get the MMR? I believe everyone should be updated in the MMRs, particularly if you were born before about 1965. I had the MMR updated, and lo and behold, there's some evidence now that the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, might confer some protection against COVID, which would be really interesting. And let me just point out that obese patients don't respond well to the MMR vaccine, and elderly wane in terms of their antibody response to the MMR. So that may be why those two populations are overrepresented by COVID complications.
Do you want to tell everybody what you did this morning when you woke up?
So
And I gotta say, Adam is a very convincing human being.
Well, I knew I had to have dinner with Adam tonight, and I knew if I didn't do this, I would not be able to sit through a dinner with him.
But he convinced us that he was explaining how it feels to jump in a pool.
In a cold pool of 48 degree or 52 degree.
And go to the bottom and touch the filter.
That I did not do. That's coming.
That's pretty cold.
Yeah, I got in. I got into the pool in the cold water, and it was a really interesting experience.
Degrees.
Jordan's going to start doing it too.
Oh, Jesus.
Because he said he used to take the cold showers in Denver.
He doesn't have enough problems. We haven't screwed him up bad enough.
It may help his anxiety. It's hard to have anxiety if you've been in 48 degree water. I'm telling you something. It's kind of interesting.
Well, I missed it because I slept till noon.
Is remdesivir and Regeneron to be taken early and diagnosed to be effective? Yes, they should be given early.
Had I been there, I would have videotaped it but I don't understand why you wouldn't videotape it.
Because it was my own. I didn't want to share it with anybody.
Oh my
but
God.
It was just one of those things. Yes, Leopold, local commercial air travel. I'm not surprised there was a traceable event. That's got to happen, right? But the events are low risk. I mean, think about what they do on air travel, Leopold. They take their masks off to eat. This is what I won't do. Everybody, and not only do they take them off to eat, they take it off all at the same time. So personally, I say if you're going to, reduce some of those outbreaks, don't take your mask off when you're in the air. So
yeah, you'll get kicked off the plane. They actually say, if you're not wearing a mask, we'll be happy to let you out the door now. So
Monica Ricci is doing the Wim Hof breathing. I'm not doing the whole breathing thing. I'm just doing the cold. Is Dr. Yo on this list? There he is. Hi, Dr. Yogendra. This is going to be a very quick little interaction. We got to go to a dinner party right now. But I have to go. I'm going to be doing something on Monday. So are we, Susan, we're not doing anything until next Wednesday? Is that accurate?
I guess so. Ask Dr. Drew.
Right. So our next little stream will be next Wednesday. I have to go to Richmond, Virginia to meet with, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be doing here, but I gave my blood to be part of a research project in terms of looking at, it's essentially looking at immune readiness to fight COVID and immune response to vaccine and other therapies. So, and also immune building with the zinc and the vitamin C and all the stuff we're all doing, the vitamin D. So I'm going to be looking at, with some very high-powered scientists, my helper T cell, my memory T cell, my memory B cell, my entire cellular immunity line, and exactly what these things are doing in me that puts me at risk or maybe protects me to a certain extent against coronavirus particularly. So it's going to be interesting. We've been very, very focused on the cytokine system, but I'm about to take a little left turn here and start to look at what's going on in the immune system to the extent that we can quantify it and sort of anticipate and maybe enhance what's going on.
So we're taking the weekend off?
I don't know. I'll be happy to do it over the weekend, so I'm asking you. Do you want to bring stuff?
I should probably bring it.
Okay, so we will do something over the weekend because I will be away Monday and Tuesday. Listen.
Well, Wednesday I'll be back.
Shane, I am not interested in people treating themselves with any chemicals, whether they're from the ground or a plant or anything else, without physician supervision. You just don't do that. So I'd be very, very careful with that. What do I think of the farce in England with the 3-tiered system? T. Sean 68, welcome to California. Welcome to California. We've been under that tyranny for a while. And what's even more insane about our 3-tier system, it applies to a county with 37,000 people and a county with 11 million people. They have to have the same thresholds. It's insane. It's truly insane. Yes, Fly Girl. We're going to look at some new technology to maybe build the immune system. Yes, that's what we're looking at. What time
are we leaving here? What time do we have to leave by?
Now.
No, I mean it's
now.
It's 4:50. I got to go put some makeup and do.
I know we got to leave now.
Right.
So
wait.
We do.
Do you want to be the first one there?
No, but we're still going to get. All right, I'll keep talking. You go put some makeup on. I'll keep talking.
All right. I have to go, everybody.
But you come back and get.
Have a fun holiday weekend.
Wait. Come back and get me. Come back as soon as you're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm going to have to hang up the thing. I'm just putting the banners up so that the thing doesn't shut down.
The thing. Oh, so I don't freeze again.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yes, Christopher Lundgren. I saw Dr. Campbell's stuff today, and he talked about a lot of this stuff. I thought it was kind of interesting. So if you've had COVID, you do not need the vaccine. That appears to be correct. Susan, lots of greetings to you.
Hello.
Yeah, but I'm back on the data front. Let's see. Am I looking at California? No, I'm looking at the United States, which looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like it's sort of stabilizing. But California, not so much, which is fascinating. With all our lockdown, we're worse than the rest of the United States. Yeah, we look now. The only good news in California is we've got nowhere near the number of hospitalizations that we had in July, even though we have twice the cases, or 50% more cases for sure. And our death rate is not really going up. It is going up, but not that much. And of course, any increase is not something we like to see. But it's gone from essentially 70 to 100. When we were at our highest, we were at 200. Now, could we get back up there? Maybe. We'll see. Is there anything we can do about it? We don't know. Yes, California. California not only is more shut down. We have curfews. We have restaurant closures. Everything's all shut down. Unless you're a Speaker of the House or the governor, then you go do as you please. That seems to be the policy we have here in California. Rules of the Rational Revolution. I could read them to you. We have them now.
You do?
We do. Maybe I should go.
Sorry, I haven't left yet, so I'm still here.
I know. You might as well shut me down. And Rational Revolution. Let's see if I've got it here.
Is it online somewhere?
No. It's oh shoot! I wrote them all down. Hold on. And I sent them to myself. So shoot, that doesn't work very well. I can't find them, but I did write them down, and I will post the rules on Locals, Casey. Maybe that's what I should do. Did cold showers when I was younger. You never got symptoms when you're exposed to COVID, Terry Coffin says. Yeah, I believe that the cold showers do something to assist in the immune function. Dianne Feinstein was caught not wearing a mask in the halls of Congress. Well, all right, but I don't like those kind of gotcha things.
Yeah.
But when somebody goes to a place with no mask and stays there with no mask and does the things that you're being told not to do yourself, come on. Susan, we have lots of requests to have Kale Lowry on the podcast. She has been bugging me. Can we please get her booked?
All right,
okay?
Maybe Wednesday she can do it.
Yeah, maybe next Wednesday, okay?
Okay.
Somebody tell her
No, I'll text her right now.
Okay.
Let me finish doing what I'm doing here. And then let me go get my makeup on.
Thanks,
we can go
Christopher.
have more conversation with Adam Carolla.
Yeah. Thanks, Christopher Lundgren, for doing that with John Campbell. I sent an email to him, too, but did not get a response.
Yeah.
LA shutting down more stuff on Monday. Did I see the notice? Andy Scott, what are you talking about? They seem like they're drooling to do it. Like they can't wait to give people a stay-at-home order. But please tell me more. 1775 all over again, Monica? Oh, I hope not. Let's see. I'm just watching Cool Showers. Where's the dinner party? It's at Adam's house.
So here's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting together a banner for when. Oops, shit. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I cussed. See, like, we have a sponsor, a Mission for Michael. I'm putting a banner together and a Better Life Recovery. It'll have music at the end. So if anybody needs help, all that information will be there. Okay. I'm going to go do my hair and makeup.
And then you're going to come get me?
I know this is the time of year where, you find out somebody's drinking too much, at Thanksgiving or whatever. So these are the places to go.
Yeah, they're very good.
I'll be there next week.
And you, I hope not.
I'm kidding.
So. Is the vaccine live, Kim Smith? No, it is not. It is an RNA vaccine. So it goes in and takes over your protein-making machinery and makes the cellular spike proteins, the viral spike proteins that activates your immune system to build antibodies against those spike proteins. And then the T cells take those proteins back to the lymph nodes and create an army of cells to prepare to respond should they see those proteins again. That's how it works. Petrox, the FDA approval. There she goes. Take a look. Come in. That was quick. Okay. Does COVID affect the kidneys? Well, it does if you get the septic complications, Sumaya. When people are dying of COVID, their kidneys fail. That is part of the cytokine activation syndrome, or cytokine storm. Hollis, where is this outbreak you're starting to get? And what do we consider an outbreak? Andy Scott, all public and private gatherings with individuals not in your household are prohibited except for faith-based services and protest, which are constitutionally protected rights. Yeah, that was so it came out earlier in the week. That's not a new thing. Creates memory cells, Tanya. That is correct. Memory B cells and helper T cells to make that happen. That is correct, Shane. No, heroin makes you steal. His question was, meth makes you go towards essentially law enforcement. Cocaine makes you run from them. That's true. The paranoias are very different. And then he asked, does heroin make people steal dogs? Because my cousin did that a lot. No, heroin makes you steal everything to support your habit or do anything to support your habit. So if you find something that works, like stealing dogs, you'll keep doing it. How do you get over a breakup if you have borderline personality disorder? Tiffany, you need to get some therapy with that. Borderlines have trouble with intimacy and usually cause the breakups as a way of sort of defending against intimacy, right? You sort of sabotage it. And so you really got to get some dialectical behavioral therapy so you can get a handle on some of that stuff. Do I follow Ivor Cummings? I don't. What was his stance, Ralph, on the lockdowns? UK done 9977 is saying it's driving me bad. I know everyone has. I've had enough. I think everyone's had enough. And if we knew, if it were not the politicians doing it, I think we'd feel better. And if there was evidence, if we could see real evidence, and if the goals were well stated and well, focused on, and if they were doing it in a less draconian way, I think people would be okay about this. But Leopold. Leopold wants to ask me, I was meaning to do this today. Any prediction on how big the spike in infection will be reported 5 days from now due to Thanksgiving gathering? Okay, Leopold, you ready? None. That's my prediction. If anything, California may have a little spike, and they'll try blaming it on Thanksgiving, but we're already in the spike. My prediction is things will turn down, and that the big think about what they did to us on Labor Day and the 4th of July. Each time they predicted massive outbreaks, chaos, pandemonium. In LA County, they tried to shut our beaches down. They told us couldn't even lay down on a towel. You had to stay. It was insane. Not only was there no outbreak, things turned down. No outbreak, things turned down. Now, those things were outdoor. I admit that was a different thing, but they were predicting massive trouble. Pandemonium was going to break out. They were incompetent in their predictions, incompetent recommendations, incompetent projections, incompetent twice. Now, my prediction is that this is going to be the third time you're going to see some degree of incompetency in how they're approaching this. 3 strikes and you're out, everybody. Give them 3 strikes. We'll see. I may be wrong, right? I may be wrong, but I think what you're going to see, because look, we know there's an outbreak. We are agents. We are responsible. We all kind of changed our behavior. We mitigated our contact with people. We had smaller Thanksgivings. Yes, people traveled. People are always traveling now. They are. And the travel is probably our biggest risk. And let's be fair. People coming, young people particularly, which is what this population, where the outbreak is occurring. It's really kids that are moving about in colleges and parties and that kind of thing. That's where it's going. And it's not, and it, when people say it happens in household gatherings, it happens in households. It doesn't necessarily happen in gatherings. I have seen multiple outbreaks in the last 2 weeks in my patients. And in every case, it's a young person coming home, spreads it throughout the house. So you have 5 people get it because one 18 or to 20-year-old brings it in. That's not Thanksgiving, everybody. That is not gatherings in the house. That is people you live amongst. When you stay at home, it passes amongst the people you live amongst. That's it. Yes, Jason Waltz. COVID is not Ebola, and it's not HIV. I mean, think about it this way. I worked diligently in the AIDS epidemic. Loveline was because of the AIDS epidemic. And we never said, hey, you're killing people when you have sex. You're killing people when you have sex. And by the way, if you passed HIV, you absolutely killed people. Back then, 100% fatality. 100% fatality. Not 1% fatality like COVID, 100% fatality. And yet we never imagined dictating how people behaved. We didn't, it was like not even in our thought process. We wanted to shape and change behavior, do the best we could, get condom wearing and all this stuff. But we didn't tell people if they had sex, they were killing people. We said things like, if you have sex, you're getting exposed to everybody that person ever had sex with, maybe. Messaging, ways of getting people to think about these things before they behaved. And it worked. People, instead of 2 million dead, which is what we were expecting, we went more like 175,000. I mean, think about it. I'm sorry I'm triggering you, Tom Cigar. I'm sorry about that. But all this stuff is, you have to put this all in historical context to really kind of understand it. I'm not saying we shouldn't be concerned about it. I'm not saying it's not a serious thing. I'm saying the way we've done this, I'm not sure is proper, and I think it's hurt as many people as it's helped, if not more, and that by itself should be anathema. We should be mortified by that. So, again, Paco Turo, I'm not sure what you mean by sex is consensual. If somebody went out into the world with COVID or with HIV, we tell the COVID person they're a murderer. They're murdering grandma. We never told somebody with HIV anything. We said, please wear a condom. Please shape your behavior. Please think about what you're doing. That's what we did. So please don't tell me. I mean, it's massively different what we're doing now, and it does not work. Does not work. I don't know why Susan Pinsky is texting me, except to say that she says I say the same things a lot. Can you guys help me with what she means by that? Because I don't know what she means by that. Let's see. Do you ever try to intervene with Adam regarding oral care? Massive government overreach is what needs to be put into context. No one seems to realize the extreme levels of authoritarianism that are being enacted illegally. Well, that's Anarchy 704. That may be true. It's certainly very different than any other. It should be the healthcare officials managing this whole thing. Why are the politicians involved? Why are they involved? It's too much. Let's see. Different HIV effect on the person. You're with COVID can spread to many at the same gathering. Ozfly girl, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just airborne as opposed to sexually transmitted. Is it possible that you've had COVID a few times? No, that's not possible. AIDS intruded on privacy codes. COVID affects everyday activities. What could be more an intrusion on privacy than forcing you to stay home? And by the way, we didn't tell people what to do. That's the point. No, Paco. Lockdowns works transiently enough on Australia, and as soon as they lightened it up, off it went again. Let's see. Yes, Tiffany Couts. There is a way to test if you've had COVID. It's an antibody test. The blood test, the actual where they draw your blood, is the best one. All right, just looking at your comments here. Connie, there are 25 cases. Oh, well, you've got a neighbor with lymphoma and apparently has had COVID twice. Somebody on immunosuppressed with lymphoma, be very hard to tell what's going on. That is certainly a severe risk situation. Okay, so Jojo, you're saying you have 200 people in your car a week and no trace contact have gotten a hold of you. Presumably, maybe you haven't. It's pretty easy not to have someone with COVID in your car, even though it's 200 people a week. It's not that common. It isn't. Not a given moment, right? You're asking is a safe lower dosage of Adderall. Taking it for over a month as prescribed. It can be throw off my sleep. I see my doctor in December. Adderall is something you can sort of stop, but talk to your doctor about that. Leopold, how long is the waiting list for liver transplant? It's going to be very long. Alcoholics don't exactly get to the head of the list. They have to show, I think, a year of sobriety before they even be considered. So he's got to really work on his alcoholism first. CDC warns 8 COVID infections are missed for everyone counted. Yeah, Casey Gates, that is the new data, that probably 50 million people have had it, and only, I believe, 13 million have been counted. So that's certainly a possibility. Which puts us at about 20%, which is not the 60, 70% we really need for herd immunity. But when we get the vaccine going, we'll be in pretty good shape at that point. Will airlines require COVID vaccine proof in the future? Chris asks. Be reasonable, I guess. Is DeSantis fudging the Florida numbers? Why would we think that about Florida and not any other state? My mom had a heart transplant. Oh, sorry about that. What are my opinions on how Italy has handled lockdowns and stats and such? I've not really looked, Brina, at Italy very carefully, so I'm not able. And Italy is very different depending on the region you look at. So Italy seems to have been a mess all the way along, mostly because of the way the hospitals managed the influx of patients. They really botched it, it seemed like to me. As compared to us improvising and staffing up and getting things, taken care of, they just sort of had put people in the hallways and they died there. It was really bad. Let's see. Christopher saying Dr. Campbell was upset today, saying that the Oxford vaccine, only 70% is amazing, and the UK media to stop scaring people not to take a good vaccine. Yeah, he should be upset. The media, again, the headlines of the media are disgusting. They're disgusting because they're grossly inaccurate and they're dangerous. People should be, somehow we need to hold people accountable for what they've done throughout this thing. I mean, think about people that won't take a good vaccine because of something they heard on the so-called news. How long can you test positive for antibodies, Ryan? Well, most people will test for at least 6 months. This is a good question. We don't know the answer to that yet. But certainly 6 months seems to be about the time range. But even though you're not testing, you may lose the antibodies. You will retain some degree of immunity, it appears. And again, that's some of the stuff I'm going to be testing on Monday in Virginia. How do you think they distribute the vaccine? It will be to nursing home patients the possibly other at-risk populations like cancer patients, that sort of thing, possibly, and healthcare providers. Joe, it says the panic porn in the LA Times is insane. That seems about right. They've been insane from the beginning. They love, if you turn the clock all the way back to recall the Oxford University prediction of 2 million Americans dead. Guaranteed it. Guaranteed. 2 million dead. And I got in trouble for saying, no way. No way that's going to happen. There's some things I just know, and I knew that would not happen. There's no way we'd allow that to happen from a flu virus, from a coronavirus. Now, if it were Ebola and it were as infectious as this airborne coronavirus, that would be a mess. That'd be a terrible thing. That would be very, very, very scary. This is not that. This has a less than 1% fatality rate. You got to remember, 99% of people recover from this thing. Vast majority is mild. Yes, Anthony Brown, people do. 99% of people recover from COVID. 99%, come on now. There are people that have trouble. There are people that get very sick. There are long haulers. There are, but it's a very tiny percentage. Not going to happen to you. Don't worry, it's going to happen to you. Does idiopathic urticaria make you extreme COVID risk? No, it does not. I did not see the crowds shopping for Black Friday, but that's interesting that people went out. And I think what's happening now is that everyone knows people that got mild disease. Everyone. And very few people know anyone that got severe disease. So they are not as prone to be affected by the severe disease stories that the media pumps out. The media looks for the tragedies. They're out there, but they are rare. In the meantime, everyone knows someone with mild disease. And people are starting to think, well, if this is so mild, why am I so scared of this thing? It didn't bother Susie or Joe, all these people I know. Why am I so scared? My fear is we're going to get too cavalier. Periodontal disease is not a risk factor. We'll get too cavalier and not think about the fact that the virus moves through us, and that's how the rapid increase occurs. If we're not doing something to mitigate it getting to us or through us, this thing can really explode. And then, of course, more people will die for sure. Annette, if you had kidney cancer and had your kidney removed and you were cured, that should not put you at any added risk of COVID. Let's see. You heard the Oxford test is the Oxford vaccine is the best, Bunny. No, statistically, that's not true. It's a good vaccine, but it's not the best in terms of efficacy. People are freaking out about ICU space. But yes, Jason Watts says this point. People are freaking out about ICU space, but ICUs are 70% full on a normal day, 70 to 90% full on a normal day. That's how they staff it. They staff it so they don't have a lot of nurses sitting around. They may have extra actual rooms available, but they don't have extra staff available. That's how you staff an ICU, which is weird. All right. Well, it's weird that people worry about whenever you hear that hospitals are being overwhelmed, actually look at the data, and you will see it's not being overwhelmed by COVID. Very unusual for that to happen. Does doubling mask help us better? I don't know. There's no evidence for that, but I mean, if you want to do that, it's fine. There's a new stay-at-home order in LA County starting on Monday, Joe Giannotta says. Are you kidding me? Post that up right now on Locals. Let me see what you're talking about, because that's, again, disgusting if that's true. Oh, my gosh. Let me go to Locals. Yeah. Why would I consent to the Oxford vaccine when I can get the Moderna? Right. That's my feeling about it, too. I see our streaming is up here, but I don't see Joe's. Joe, put your comment up there. Put it up. The new so-called stay-at-home order. Safer at home. When people say safer at home, by the way, false. It's not true. It's just simply not true. Home is where it transmits. That's it. That's a fact. By the way, they can't at one hand say gathering in the home is where it transmits and then stay home. Think about how silly that is. Let's see. Why aren't the medical communities louder against the destruction of our economies? I don't know why not. I wondered why they're not sort of speaking up a little bit. I don't think they're looking at, I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. I really don't. Okay, Joe put it up now. Let's see what we got here. Los Angeles issues new stay-at-home order as coronavirus is certified. A new stay-at-home order to avoid non-essential outings for 3 weeks in an effort. Is that just a recommendation? Advise residents stay home as much as possible. Wear a face mask if it bans all public and private gatherings with individuals not living in the same household. Pfft, please. Yeah, this is just a tightening down of the current situation. No, this is not the stay-at-home thing yet. It isn't. Though they would love to issue that stay-at-home. They seem like they can't wait. It's the Wicked Witch of the West. It's crazy. New York Times article regarding tooth loss in long-haul recovering COVID patients. I do not know that, but Dr. Yogendra, if you're on the thread, you might want to look into that. It makes, I don't know. That doesn't quite make sense to me yet. Let's see. Tyler, I can't answer that. I don't know the exact answer. I think so. The point that you can't feel it, it's inside the body as opposed to outside or nearly outside. Once the vaccine hits a solid amount of the population, how long will it start to see some of the effects? Hard to say, Petrox. I'm guessing a couple of months. I mean, it takes a month to get the vaccine, right? It's a 2-parter separated by 3 or 4 weeks. Can low P12 cause psychosis? Very low B12 could cause mental status changes, I imagine, but it causes something called combined degeneration. That's more typical. Yes. Christopher says he would climb over broken glass to get the vaccine. And I pretty much agree with you. Don, sorry, didn't see the comment. Will I be on tomorrow or Sunday, Joe? Apparently we will be, Susan was just saying. Do pre-existing conditions make the COVID deadlier? The main thing that makes it deadlier is obesity, hypertension, hypercholesterolemia, antiphospholipid syndrome, age, or some combination of these things. Aging over 70 or certainly over 65. So that is what we mean when we say at risk. Now, I've noticed oncologists have been really tightening down on their cancer patients too, because your immune function is not quite right. I don't know any specific evidence that that the immunocompromise in cancer, obviously there's just everything's worse, right? So you don't want to have to deal with that. AWC, ivermectin is something I would take if I got sick. When do you think the U.S. will have the vaccine available for the average low-risk person? I would say in the spring. Do defense nasal screens work? I don't know about nasal screens, but there's some interesting data out there about nasal sprays. So one of my podcast listeners sent me a lot of great articles on spraying betadine, xylitol, saline, steroid, almost anything you spray in your nose that's sort of inert or has some antibacterial effect will kill the coronavirus in seconds. And I'm wondering, and so was he, not Afrin. Do not use Afrin. That causes something called rhinitis medicamentosa, which is, you'll rue the day on that one. I don't know about colloidal silver either, my friend, but I know that the betadine and the saline solutions, it reduces the virus ability to get in. So why aren't we doing that on a regular basis? I don't quite understand that. Why there has not been any recommendations on that. Yes, Tom Cigar, addicted to nasal spray is called rhinitis medicamentosa. It's nasty. Let's see. Can we do multiple vaccines when they are ready? I'm not sure what you mean. What about Flonase? Amanda, I'm assuming that's one of the things that might be beneficial. Flonase, I use one of the other steroid sprays, but I'm thinking about starting doing a betadine spray on a regular basis. I'm really thinking about that. Do you think particulate can get into people's eyes while walking around? Leopold, what do you think of that? What do you think about particulate or aerosolized matter getting into our eyes? I've noticed a lot more people wearing goggles, particularly on planes. So, Annette, you're saying recommend sinus sprays. Why? Why, Annette? Tell me. Have you seen some of that data? It looks pretty interesting. Flora may be very careful with the Afrin. After the second dose of vaccine, when will it be safe? I hear it's like a week after the second vaccine. And Kush, if you have antiphospholipid syndrome, you need to be really, really careful. There's something about that antiphospholipid syndrome that puts you at risk of the cytokine activation, and I've seen some really bad outcomes from that. So Brina and MS should not put you at any higher risk unless you're having trouble with your respiratory, like you're so disabled by MS that you're respiratory compromised. Then of course, have the tank traps been removed from a Corolla's horse trail? Somewhat, not entirely. So Leopold, you say yes. Wear the goggles, huh? Will my glasses be enough? Do I have to wear these sealed goggles? I can't believe that. I mean, I worked in ICUs long enough. We'd put sort of the shield on, but never really put full, sealed goggles. What vitamins and omega do I take? I take True Niagen, which is a nicotinamide riboside. I take vitamin C 1,000 milligrams. Take vitamin D 5,000 units. I take zinc 25. I take quercetin 500. Let's see. I take niacinamide because it's been shown to reduce skin cancers, essentially the precancerous lesions of the skin, which I get a lot of. And I use the Nordic Naturals product. I take a little extra DHA, and I take a combination of fish oils. But I'm not convinced my fish oils are doing much for me. Other than that, I take medication because I'm also metabolic syndrome, and that's been well controlled. And let's see, do I take any other vitamins? I take a multivitamin with minerals to get the minerals. And I take DHEA. So I take a bunch of stuff. I do take some probiotics, and I'll be talking about them soon. Let's see. Do I think legislation against panic porn in the news would be effective? I do not. I don't think it'd be possible. I think there'd be a constitutional sort of challenge to that, and I don't think they would win. I think you have to vote. I think their businesses have to be destroyed for being dishonest. That's the only chance we have against panic porn and disgusting headlines, which is don't listen to them. Don't turn them on, and they will go out of business. Linda, True Niagen is an NAD supplement, and I'm convinced that NAD may have an effect on the aging process. Some people take NAD infusions, but nicotinamide riboside is the only way you can sort of get NAD into your system. It's a oxidation reduction chemical that keeps your pushing your chemistry in a direction that's theoretically pushes against aging. Maybe not. I'm also supposed to take 81 milligrams of aspirin every day because I have Lynch syndrome, but I bruise so easily with my aging sun-damaged skin that I went off it. Also, I have to get yearly colonoscopies and upper endoscopies because of that Lynch syndrome. So I've recently had to go off the aspirin because I'm about to have a colonoscopy in about 2 weeks. Staggering surges, morose milestones, inconceivable incidences. Yes, George, there you go. The amount of disinformation in LA County has been bothering me. My sister-in-law in Kansas refers to it as a disease. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but Monica, trusted media is very low already, but the viewership is kind of up in some of the panic porn operations. And you have to, it broke my heart, but the LA Times I canceled early. They please cancel your LA Times subscriptions if they are unconscionable what they write. And I know how bad their writing is because I've been the object of some of their interviews, and they lie. They lie straight out to make some sort of disgusting innuendo, twist headline, whatever it is. So I can't believe anything that is printed in the LA Times. Yeah, your word jumped the shark for me. They wrote an article about a beach I frequent in Laguna where there was a seawall about 200 yards off the ocean where the Coastal Committee, which if you don't live in California, you don't want to know about what this is. It's a Gestapo organization, but was fining this family $1 million for having essentially beautified the wall to make it look like natural rock. They claimed that it was interfering with the circulation of the sand. That wall's been there for 75 years. 75 years, and it's never interfered with the circulation of the sand, but they beautified it. And then the LA Times wrote an article condemning that family, and to make it look like the wall was closer to the water, they superimposed a purple tree in the middle of the beach. I kept it on my phone. I wish I could show it to you. It was disgusting manipulation and outright lies. And I thought, that's it, I'm done. And then I had to get rid of the New York Times, which kind of broke my heart, but because I really, really relied on them for stuff, and they jumped the shark too. So now, where do you go? I mean, that's how people get more and more siloed. That's what's really tough about this. I try to listen to, World Rewind. What do I listen to? It's nearly impossible to get the real news. That's absolutely the case. I listen to podcasts, and I'm people talking to Joe Rogan. I mean, it seems like you'll hear stuff, when Tulsi Gabbard talks to Joe Rogan, I feel like I'm learning something. I feel like I'm hearing what's really going on. What about nursing home lockdowns? I don't know, Shelley, what you want to know about that. Correct. Anarchy 704. I'm not quite sure what you're getting at, but I appreciate what you're trying to say there, I think. The Hill isn't a bad source of news. Doesn't that... They all lean right or left. They all go somewhere, and I don't trust anything that's leaning. I just want the news. Just report the news, please. Matthew, journalism is not just going through a metamorphosis. It's going through a crisis where people who become journalists literally believe their mission is not to report the news, but to affect the outcome. And that's where I'm out. And that's where their businesses have to fail. And that's the only way they're going to get the message. So that's it. We got to go. It's time to go. Thank you, everybody. So let's go.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. We'll see you over the weekend, right? Right? What did you mean that I'm repeating myself?
I don't know. You just talk about... I want to get on the mic.
She's going to get on the mic. And then I want the folks here to tell me whether they agree.
I mean, we have new
Thanks,
people
Joe.
on that haven't heard you talk about it, but the health messaging that you talk about, comparing HIV to today, I don't know, I've heard it a lot. I guess you've been on a lot of other podcasts talking about it too, but
that's about I came upon that realization about 2 weeks ago, and so I'm repeating it everywhere to make sure I get that message. I'm sure I will lose steam with that, but I want to make that point everywhere I can. So I am intentionally. Petrox, I don't know why they think melatonin can be helpful with COVID, but
Joe said you're whipped, Drew.
By you?
Uh-huh.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yes.
Okay. As long as it makes you happy. See? All right, everybody. So, yes, Abe, and I would love to get on the Rogan podcast. I'm not sure if he's got some, I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah. Jason, thank you.
I think you've been on every other show in the world.
Yeah,
I mean,
Lenore Johnson. I do trust the CDC. I do. And you should. They are a quality organization. They're very conservative. They may not be right all the time, but you can trust them to be what they are. So I'm owns a pug says I'm cranky.
Somebody said, get Andrew Yang on here.
Oh, I love that. We should do that. We should do that.
We got a contact for him. We asked him, and we almost got him on a show a while back, but I just texted Kale Lowry.
Okay, good. And Christopher Longan will be on across the weekend, but I'm not sure when.
Double check.
Probably, Susan, we could just do one tomorrow morning before we leave.
True.
So we'll do it at some point. Tomorrow or Sunday.
Or just pack up the camera. So Kale Lowry said she might be available on Wednesday.
Okay.
Double check.
Great.
And then we have to call MTV.
Okay.
But she said she'll make it work.
Why is prophylaxis
She's got the
AWC
power.
not pushed more by doctor? Because AWC, we don't have a good prophylaxis yet. And hydroxychloroquine was really kind of disproven, soundly disproven in a recent article as a prophylactic. So it didn't look good. Now, quercetin you can take, zinc you can take. Are you actually doing something? We don't know. All right, everybody, let's wrap this thing up. We thank you for being here on our little quickie. Although it ended up being not such a quickie, right, Susan?
Yeah, it wasn't, sometimes you go longer than others.
Here we go. Well, we're just waiting on you. All right. We will see.
It was 56 minutes. It wasn't an hour and 30 like the last one. Last one was an hour and a half, and
yeah,
it took me a little longer to get ready than I thought. But
okay. Well,
we have to go get the pies and the wine, and
he doesn't want the pies.
Oh, we don't.
He
no
refused
pies.
the pies. Yeah.
Okay. How about what is?
I got the wine. Here we go.
Wine. Okay, we have wine.
And we'll see you guys either tomorrow or Sunday. Okay, we'll see you then.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Bye-bye.
Real talk.
Headlines have become it's sickening. They become poisonous.
Dissecting headlines.
Defying state orders. Sheriff Bianco not enforcing what the governor is saying.
Dialed in with decision makers.
Clarify what you actually meant.
Get the answers you need.
At the beginning of this, we were told, don't wear a mask. Is this really helping?
Expect a different kind of newscast. Fox 11 News Special Report. Weeknights at 7. Real talk